last time.
No, I'm hoping that it'll be better this time around because I'm actually on a PC and not a laptop that was struggling its ass off to get by.
Struggle is not the word I would have used, but yes.
It was dying, quite literally, because the battery in the back of it was just fucking done. She was tapped out. She was sending the warnings, like 3 pop-ups saying, "Hey, your battery is insufficient for this computer. Click here to learn more. Hello, your battery needs to be changed. Hello, your battery needs to be changed. You're unable to operate off of the power cord. Please do not remove the power cord."
Oh, Lord.
I'm like, oh dear God, she's dying. A horrible death.
Yeah, that happens. There you go. So, what kind of exciting things are happening in adventuresome Arkansas?
Well, you guys are coming back from when James and I recorded West Mesa Bone Collector when I was still living in Havasu. So you went from Arkansas to Havasu, Arkansas.
Yeah, confused me a wee bit. Like, wait a minute. Yeah.
No, now we're in Arkansas fully because I had to get the Adolf Kluwer's episode out because that thing was cursed.
It was, but you're not fully because you still have part 2 of Mesa Bone Collector coming out this week.
Yeah, but by the time this drops,
then okay, I got you.
Yeah,
okay. Then
you gotta record later in the future, okay?
I'm catch back up.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Jesus
Okay.
Okay, then.
Glad you're there with me, okay?
I caught right the hell up, man.
I also love how I can do a Uber accent like nobody's business. I could get the Norwegian accent going in there, like we taking on a little bit of winter. But for some reason, the other night when Lucio and I were playing Valheim together, which if you guys don't know is like a sandbox Minecraft Viking game, we're both sitting there making the most god-awful accents in Russian.
That's because you're both probably hammered off your asses. You do like to, get tipsy and play.
I do. It's fun.
Yeah.
Drunk Minecraft.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's a blast.
I gotta remember to stop putting my elbows up on this little desk. It goes every time I do, and it's like,
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right. So, winter, and you had excitement today of, I'm going to record. No, you're not, because you're going down to 15 amps again.
Yeah, no, I was in the shower and I came out and my fucking furnace in my back room went, huh. I'm like, huh? I'm like, the fuck just happened? I'm like, no. I'm like, poke my head out. I'm like, I have the worst little, like, fucking just, like the fucking cave troll coming out from under the bridge.
Yep.
And Dad's like, I had to turn it off. They're working on the power in the building. I'm like, slid the door back shut.
Your poor Dad. He has been a saint for the last, 3-4 weeks because he's had to put up with your antics, to say the least.
He has. I'm a goblin at heart.
Yeah, you and your freaking cat.
Oh, for fucking real. Salem's in a mood, which I'm guessing it's because the full moon's coming up.
I say like that too, and your dad goes, oh, that can't be the reason. I'm like, I don't know. Little man was in a mood this morning and tearing shit up, and I'm like, he normally isn't that way. He's the bestest boy.
I'd like to say Salem's normally not that way, but
I like the side eye she just cast to the cat. And I'm like, she's looking at her going, yeah, I can't say that about you, you bitch. That poor cat. God, after getting...
I love her so much, but god damn it.
She is rough, that is for sure. She is not a cat. I still keep saying that.
Everybody's on that same page.
Yeah, or it's her first time catting, because she doesn't have it down.
No, but everybody's on that same page now that they're like, oh, Salem's just a flesh pedestrian. Yes. I'm just like, yeah, no, she really fucking is.
She is a handful, that is for sure. Oh, goodness. But anyways, you got snow, you got cold temperatures.
I got some rain, so we might have some nice little trickles sounding off.
I'm going to say, I can kind of hear the tuck on the raindrops on windows and...
Whispers on kittens. I actually just watched The Sound of Music a couple nights ago.
Oh. I haven't seen that.
Well, Dad watched it. I popped a headphone off. I was like half watching it, half playing video games because I haven't had my computer in so long.
Oh God, yeah. That was an adventure too. She got her actual gaming computer put up in the kitchen dining room area of the little trailer, and it wouldn't fire up. And suddenly I hear the ding of my family group chat going off, and I'm like, well, who's talking to us? And it's like, Katie. Clint, are you here, Clint? She will not breathe. She's not firing. We have no pulse.
I'm like, I was at the and there's been a couple instances because the trailer is not fully stable. She does shift, and unfortunately, items may shift during movement.
Yes.
The graphics card is one of those items. So she comes just loose enough to where she's like, I'm on, I'm off, I'm on, I'm off, I'm on, I'm off. Like, are you fucking good?
Nope. That's why I say you're bitching about the electricity, but once we get that electricity in the garage, we can make you your own area where it's actually stable.
Yeah, no, I'm fully looking forward to that. I told Dad, I'm like, if it stays somewhat warm, I might be able to get away with going in there without insulation. I might have to have like 50 blankets on me, but I might be able to do it.
God. I was going to say, he's coming back next week, but then turn around and taking the load down there. So we'll make sure that your heater, the other space heater, is with the big one. And
he doesn't seem too keen on parting with the one that's in the back room right now.
Well,
it's like, that thing's amazing. It's better than the one we got out here.
Well, it's all amazing when it's running on 50 amps instead of 15. So.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's what I told her. I'm like, just wait till you plug into full power. You're going to be, like, shocked at how well this camper does. She's like, no, I can't believe it. She calls me, oh, my God, we got full power. It's amazing. Yep.
I think I'm just happy to have my fucking PC up and going and being able to, like, hang out with my friends because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't go outside. It's snowing.
It's sub-zero temperatures. I'll get cold. But I wanted seasons. Oh, and we also figured out that the reason Arkansas is in a deep freeze is because of Caitlin. When we moved to Havasu, Katie went, I miss the snow. I miss the seasons. I miss this. I miss that. Well, Havasu got the first measurable snowfall in 27 goddamn years. The first New Year's she was here. So now she's in Arkansas, and they've had below winter temperatures and more snowfall than they usually get. So we're blaming Katie. She did it all. She took it with her.
That's a totally fair assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Considering there's still snow on the ground.
Yep. Oh well.
I was all excited to watch it, but I'm like, I don't want to go outside. No, that's fucking freezing.
You want it all, but as long as I don't have to deal with it.
When it comes to seasons, spring, summer, bleh, autumn,
you're gonna
hold me back.
You're gonna flip and lose your mind where you're at, because Dad and I were just, every day was fantastic while we were there for a month. It was awesome.
You're gonna have to take a video of me coming out of my house the first time and being like full goblin mode.
You are full goblin mode, period.
I am.
Anywho,
so today we are talking about a missing person, but before we get started with that, while we understand that some individuals listen for the entertainment aspect of true crime, it's important to remember that these are real people with families and friends who may still be suffering from their loss. These stories are not meant to open old wounds or cause further emotional damage to those involved. We remind you to please be respectful and do not dox or contact those involved with cases. The case discussed on this podcast today may be disturbing to some listeners, and listener discretion is advised.
Woohoo! Do we have any triggers?
I believe that we have a suicide trigger warning today.
Oh, okay.
So, born on April 15th of 1980 in Memphis, Tennessee, to parents Shelby and Patty McDaniel. Benjamin Wayne McDaniel was the oldest of 3 children and grew up in Collierville, Tennessee. He was noted as being a confident kid who always held Patty's hand in public until the 6th grade. He learned how to play the old rugged cross on piano, and he sang it for her at Christmas. During vacations, the family was active, and he even told his folks that he wanted to build his house on top of water so he'd be able to fish and swim below.
Ooh.
I know. Doesn't that sound fucking cool?
That sounds like really freaking amazing. I like this guy. Wow. Ooh.
No, I'm like, the first time I heard that, I'm like, that's like the dream house of like, you like build it on almost like a plantoon thing, or maybe like
pontoon, not plantoon, pontoon.
Listen,
but yes,
Linda, I am sleepy.
No, I was thinking when he said that, I was like, oh, like one of those the destination pods that you can do in like Bora Bora and
like
all that. I was
Fiji
like,
and Bora Bora.
Yeah, but if it's like on a lake that kind of freezes over, that'd be cool too. Because then
until you have to leave your house.
Well, you would have a dock to get out there. It's not like you're gonna go swimming across to get in your house, dinkus.
I mean, I would. That would be half the fucking fun.
You're so friggin' weird.
I have groceries!
I was gonna say, I want to see that. Come on, somebody with a camera, please. God, sucks. This is my child. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome, world.
I asked if fucking 7 + 6 was 12 the other day.
I know, your dad said that. He was like, I kind of looked at her and went, really? Really? I'm like, well, it is Katie. Fast math was never her fortitude. No.
So Ben was a very active individual and an avid scuba diver. And he took up the activity at the age of 15 years old.
Wow.
He was also a very frequent rock climber in his youth, with his partner being his younger brother, Paul. Ben was certified in open water diving, and as he grew older, he developed a passion and was working to get certified in cave diving.
Oh, God, no. Please don't tell me we're going into the caves. Oh, you bitch. No.
So in April of 2010, Ben had moved back into his parents' beach house / condo at the Santa Rosa Beach on the Emerald Coast in Florida. Unfortunately, there had been a series of what I can only perceive as devastating blows to Ben's everyday life. He was already 4 months into a sabbatical, suggested to Ben by his parents earlier that year. His marriage had ended in divorce.
No.
His personal construction business had failed.
Oh my God.
And most of all, his younger brother, Paul, passed away 2 years earlier in 2008, and he was still deeply grieving the loss.
I would only imagine.
In mid-August of Ben's 4-month stay in Florida, he returned to Tennessee for a week to celebrate his mother's birthday. He reportedly seemed optimistic during this visit and was telling his family and girlfriend, Emily Guerrier, that he was working on getting certified as a diving instructor and was also in the process of researching cave diving with the intent to get certification in that as well. Ben had reportedly at this time logged over 250 dives in the last month alone.
Jeez Louise. That is a lot.
Which, if my math is correct, that averages about 8 dives a day.
Good gravy. And you got all that time in between that you have to, detox and all that or whatever it is. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah.
So basically, he's going down. As soon as he runs out of air, he comes back up. He detoxes, and then he goes back down.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
So Ben had also been very eager for his next dive. It was a cave dive back in Florida, to which he left early on August 15th to make the 7-hour drive back to Florida, leaving a thank you letter for his parents. So this note had described how he was grateful for his parents offering the sabbatical to him, and he promised to take care of them as they grew older. That following Wednesday, on August 18th, the disappeared episode describes Ben as mostly like waking up that morning to a beautiful view in Florida in the Panhandle with his chocolate Labrador rescue, Spooner. This day, Ben had a full day of scuba diving planned. He left Spooner at the house and made his way to Ponce De Leon, Florida, an area known for its crystal clear spring and underwater cave system known as the Vortex.
Oh, that doesn't sound inviting. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna go swim in the Vortex. Okay, you do that.
So, a little information on the spot before we continue. The Vortex is a commercially owned and operated recreational camp and diving park near Ponce de Leon, Florida. The cold freshwater spring produces approximately 28 million gallons of water daily while maintaining a near constant temperature of 68 degrees.
Ooh, that is nice.
Right? That's fucking wonderful, isn't it?
I was going to say, I'm equating it to Mammoth Springs, which does like 13 million gallons either a day or an hour. I can't remember what it is, but it's a monster too. So I'm like, ooh, yeah.
So this personal website for the Vortex states that this is the largest diving facility in the state of Florida, with a 200-foot basin with sloped sides and a cave which links into the Floridian aquifer.
Ooh.
The cave entrance is about 58 feet below the surface and has an opening of 9 feet by 12 feet, which is accessible for about 310-ish feet in this cave-like system until you get to the piano room. But it's locked by a steel gate to go further on, as only experienced divers are allowed to dive further.
Okay.
At the entrance of this cave, by the steel gate, about 300 feet below the surface, there is a sign posted depicting the Grim Reaper, with divers dead at his feet, stating, "Stop, prevent your death, and go no further."
Okay, well, yeah, I wouldn't be there in the first place, number one, cave, and no. But I'm sure there's got to be somebody that has to do it, kind of, yeah.
So, more than 300 divers, including open water scuba instructors, have died in caves just like this one. You need training to dive. You need cave training and cave equipment to cave dive. Without cave training and cave equipment, divers can die here. It can happen to you. There's nothing in this cave worth dying for. Do not go beyond this point.
And they have a gate in front of it, right?
Mm-hmm. So it's gated off, and then you got this ominous fucking sign.
I'm still going, I wouldn't be there in the first place, but I'm just going, at that point, I'd probably go, you know what? I'm going to trust your actions on that one. We'll go ahead and call that. Sure.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be there in the first place either. I would be splish-splashing up on the surface, and I'd be like, you know what? God made me a land creature for a reason. We stay up here.
We stay right here. I got all this flubber. This is why I float. This is why I'm up here. Yeah. Nope. Cave equates dark to me, and I don't do dark, so yeah.
Right. So the policy for this gate was instituted after the deaths of 13 divers in the cave during the 1990s, in response to threats from the state of banning diving in the cave entirely. In order to even gain access to the cave, individuals must be properly and officially certified to obtain a key from the dive shop to pass the gate.
So they had just reason for these signs and warnings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, this cave continues, steadily narrowing as it goes. Starting from the gate, over 1,600 feet through the area's limestone and silt bedrock have been mapped to a depth of about 310 feet beyond that.
Damn.
However, the cave's full extent is still not known. At some points of the cave, the passages narrow to only being 10 inches in width, which requires divers to take off their tanks and push them through the opening first before twisting their own bodies through the tight hole to follow.
Oh, fuck that. No.
Yeah, no.
No. Joe, don't go. No. Mm-mm.
There's also the concern of being silted out, which is where the dirt and silt on the base of the cave gets stirred up to a point where it becomes impossible to see, rendering a diver completely blind.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, let's add that to the fucking mix.
Then there's also the risks of cave collapses. Disorientation with chambers can also steal a individual's sense of direction. And the tight restrictions can snare hoses, tanks, and even people, holding them in place while they panic and unfortunately drowned.
Yeah, there's so many no's there. So many no's. And there's people like, oh, I want to try.
I have no urge. And I don't know.
I have no urge. Nope. None whatsoever. They go, oh, you want to swim that? No, I fucking don't.
I don't know why my Facebook reels are like, here's caving, here's cave diving, and here's Mount Everest. Places I would never be caught dead.
But you're looking them up. That's why you're seeing that.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't looked up Everest in a while, but now I'm like, okay, well, I'm curious because the morbid curiosity is there.
Oh, Lord God. I'm with you on that one. That's another one. No.
No, would
One
not
too
be
cold,
caught
too
dead.
high. No. Just leave me alone. I'm not an explorer. I'm not a great adventurer either. I'm just like, leave me in my house. I'm good, thanks. I'll watch it on TV.
Now, according to individuals who were working at the Vortex, Ben had dove there often and had become a regular at the park. On this particular day, August 18th, Ben had kept away from the crowds that were gathering at the spring. He reportedly made a dive down to the cave and resurfaced sometime later, refilling his tanks at a nearby dive shop, and spending the afternoon alongside the spring testing equipment and making notes in his dive log. Ben had been making a map of his own with each dive he took into the cave. Meaning, he'd been going into it for a while now.
Yeah. Oh, that just tells you he's getting emboldened. He's ready to go explore deeper. Because guess what? I want a full map of that. Yeah.
So, Ben had plans for one more dive that day at around 7:30 p.m. Another two employees saw him on their way back from their own dive themselves as he began his descent. Ben had a flashlight on and was wearing a helmet, which suggested that he was venturing into the cave. One of the employees resurfacing had began to suspect for some time that Ben was forcing his way past the gate. Rather than having Ben possibly waste precious oxygen and time to make it past the gate, the employee returned down to unlock it for him, to which he watched Ben enter before leaving and returning to the surface.
The fuck, man?
Now, normally on nights the two employees had seen Ben dive late. They'd stay and watch the spring to see bubbles rising to the surface, suggesting that Ben was like decompressing and beginning his resurfacing.
Right.
Just to make sure like he's safe, he's all right, he's coming back up, we can go now. However, on this night, the two left instead.
Oh, that sounds odd.
Mm-hmm. When the employees returned the next day, Ben's truck was still there. But with the proclaimed business of visitors coming to enjoy the site's recreations, no one had really like fully noticed the vehicle or thought it was like out of place.
Okay.
On the second day of the vehicle being there with no sign of Ben, the same employee that had assisted Ben with entering the cave called the Holmes County Sheriff's Office. The scene at the spring was something on its own to behold, with yellow crime scene tape encircling the area and tied behind trees. Upon searching the area, Ben's tank, wetsuit, and other diving equipment were not present, and there were no signs of a struggle near his truck or anywhere else that he might have been. His wallet was still in the truck with nearly $1,100 in cash inside, and his cell phone was in the cab of the truck along with his dive logs, which showed that he had explored the cave and mapped what he had found. It was also discovered that the last time the cell phone was used was the night he vanished, as he'd called his mother, presumably a few minutes before his descent. Law officers showed up and dove into the chamber leading to the deeper cave to search for any signs of Ben. Air tanks were found outside the cavern entrance. The first was a aluminium 80 with a full regulator around 200 feet inside the cave, and the other two were tanks that lacked a regulator that were attached to the talk box, a diving spot in the outer cavern area, or as I previously mentioned, the piano room. This struck investigators as odd, since Ben had supposedly had intent to search the cave. Usually divers would place extra tanks needed for decompression along their exit routes so they could follow them out, and not only at the entrance of the cave.
Right.
When further tested, the tanks were found to contain normal air and not the specialized gas mix which would be required for a diver at the depths Ben was going to, which are needed for resurfacing to avoid the bends. So we're going to pause there for a moment, because I'm going to explain the bends a little bit, because some people don't know what this is. So the bends is also known as decompression sickness. It is a condition that occurs in scuba divers when dissolving gases, mainly nitrogen, come out of solution in the bloodstream, forming gas bubbles in circulation. It is caused by rapid changes in pressure during scuba diving. The bends can also affect almost any area in the body or any organ. This includes the lungs, heart, brain, joints, and skin. As you can imagine, it's very terrifying and very lethal.
And yet another reason I don't do that. I snorkel. I float on the water.
So Ben would have been aware of this requirement if he'd been researching cave diving, as he reported to his parents. Additionally, he's been diving for how long now? He knows that you need a specialized gas. Knows.
Yeah, so why just have the plain air?
Yeah.
Does not sound like either the equipment wasn't functioning correctly, or he wasn't as prepared as he wanted to be, or thought he was.
Word spread through the diving community, and divers in the vicinity of the Vortex Spring began volunteering to descend into the cave to search for Ben, fully knowing the risks of death even with decades of experience that they had themselves. These individuals knew the deeper you go, the more treacherous it becomes, and specifically, this cave was challenging even for the skillful individual. Shelby and Patty were inside their farmhouse in Collierville, Tennessee, when a neighbor called, letting them know that there was a sheriff's deputy at their gate at around 11 a.m. Patty knew immediately that something was wrong. They, along with Ben's girlfriend at the time, traveled to Florida immediately to watch the search from the shore of the Vortex Spring. While lawmen canvassed the area around the spring with cadaver dogs, to which the dogs alerted in two areas, in the water and along the bank. The parents and girlfriend of Ben anxiously paced the banks, and every time they saw bubbles appear, their hearts pounded with hope that a diver would emerge with their loved one's remains. However, after 36 days and 16 divers searching the area, shining flashlights in crevices and wherever a person might fit, including a search that was done on August 22nd by an Ed Sorson, a veteran cave diver and recovery specialist with nearly 2,500 logged dives.
Wow.
Like, he's known very well in the community for his dives and his recoveries.
Huge. Yeah.
He made 3 separate dives into a cave using an underwater scooter to maneuver quickly through the tunnel and save on air. He made it further than the sections Ben had previously mapped, or anyone had mapped for that matter.
Wow.
And he found nothing.
The hell?
No body, no evidence of increased activity by carnivorous aquatic scavengers, nor evidence that Ben had gone into the sections Sorson had found. Sorson stated that there was no way Ben could have gotten through some of those narrow passages. I know what I'm doing, and I barely made it through.
Jesus.
Including that the last place I searched was pristine, without a mark that a diver had been there. It would be impossible to go through that restriction without making a mark on the floor or ceiling. He's not in there.
Oh.
The McDaniels obviously don't want to give up at this point, and they're going to do whatever they can to help the search. They even go as far as to hire the original mapper of the Vortex Spring Caves, Stephen Keene. However, after 7 dives, Keene apologizes to the McDaniels as he, too, doesn't find any sign of Ben, stating, "If he's in there, I don't know where he'd be."
Yeah. Wow.
So, frustrated by the limitation and searches so far, and increasingly becoming more convinced that Ben's body was in an area of the cave that no one had reached yet, the McDaniels offered a reward of $10,000 to anyone brave enough to go into these possible places to find it.
Oh, come on. Jesus, everybody else has done it and they still think he got through?
So this obviously put some offense on the 16 divers who had already risked their lives going in to try to find Ben. And others became concerned that treasure hunters looking to claim the reward with the inexperience required to go cave diving would get themselves killed in the process.
Exactly.
So the McDaniels wondered whether Ben actually may be buried under silt in a nook previous divers had missed, to which many divers explained it would be like lying down in your front yard in scuba gear under leaves. You'd most likely notice it.
Exactly. I was going to say there'd have to be a little bit of a rise or something that would give it away.
Some just type of like, well, even like with snow per se, like if you have rocks underneath the snow, like it might get coated, but you can definitely tell like there's something there.
Mm-hmm. It's not smooth. It's not, yeah.
It's not flat anymore. There's something underneath it that's causing it to bulge.
Yeah.
So Captain Harry Hamilton, who from what I could find was the lead investigator on this case, ran through evidence that he had been provided thus far. If Ben were stuck in the cave, his body would have progressed with a host of postmortem changes. The cadaver dogs had reacted strongly to the water, suggesting that this was a possibility. However, upon further testing of the water, there was no indication of bacteria spiking that consisted with the decomposition of human remains. If Ben had died in the cave and been washed out with the natural flow, his body wouldn't have made it far past the mouth of the spring. Hamilton called out a helicopter, and the sheriffs searched the swamps and forest of the downstream area, but still nothing was found. This raised the question of what about foul play?
Yes, that's where I'm at too.
The owner of the Vortex Spring, one Lowell Kelly, told investigators that a man, wide-eyed and about 35 years old, showed up at the dive shop after sundown, looking fairly inebriated and wanting to go diving. Was it possible that this individual may have abducted Ben upon his resurface? Besides, if someone had abducted Ben when he came out of the stream, there was no signs of a struggle and nothing on the dive shop's security cameras. None of Ben's equipment was found, and what about the $1,100 cash left in the car?
Yeah.
Why take him and not the money?
I don't know.
Multiple theories began to surface from the public and law enforcement at this time. The ever-popular faked your death theory rose. Robert McClellan and his wife Jill Heinerth came to the Vortex nearly a year after Ben's disappearance after following the case through diver forums and newspaper coverage. Their goal was to shoot a documentary of the cave and show it to the McDaniels to try to gently explain how cave diving works and give them some form of closure to the disappearance of Ben. After seeing Ben's diving log books, it showed he had made at least one dive to the far reaches of the cave, and she explained to the family a common occurrence with cave diving fatalities called diver's panic. This is where individuals will burrow themselves beyond the reach of prudent divers. Heinerth stated that sometimes they burrow so deep that they can't be found. I simply see no reasonable evidence that he is not in the cave. Although many others disagree with this statement and that Ben is absolutely not in the cave whatsoever. McClellan leans towards the possibility that Ben had a psychotic breakdown that evening and might have compulsively decided to reinvent himself. This idea also floated around the scubadivingboard.com forum with several scuba divers who pictured the then 30-year-old man sitting on a beach in Mexico. McClellan's theory comes from his experience as a nurse and working with addicted and traumatized patients who simply left their lives to start anew. Of all the theories, though, the McDaniels believe this to be the least plausible, as Ben wouldn't do such a cruel thing to them, especially after the devastating death of the youngest son in 2008.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't sound plausible.
This unfortunately left the McDaniels to fall to a darker theory: foul play. They hired Lynn Marie Carty, a Florida private investigator who operates a business called Reunite People, to further explore this theory. Carty gathered criminal records of several people associated with the Vortex Spring, including its former owner, Lowell Kelly, who died under suspicious circumstances in 2011.
Ooh, plot twist.
Kelly had owned the Vortex Spring since 2007 and was facing criminal charges. He'd allegedly taken a temporary employee, he said owed him thousands of dollars, into a isolated part of the wooded area and proceeded to beat him with a baseball bat to make him pay up.
Ooh.
The employee escaped, and prosecutors later charged Kelly with assault and kidnapping in the incident.
I would hope so.
Kelly was sentenced to 7 years of probation in 2011 and died before his first year was even completed.
Okay, so refresh me that this happened after Ben
This is after
disappeared?
Ben's disappearance.
Yeah, that doesn't sound hinky.
On December 3rd of 2011, during a chili cook-off he was hosting at the spring, Kelly reportedly fell down some stairs and sustained a head injury. A guest drove him to his home in Ponce De Leon, helped Kelly shower, and placed a blanket over him, leaving Kelly to rest in the bathtub overnight.
The hell?
I know, it's kind of a weird thing, right?
Yes, I'm like, if he fell and hurt his head and he's not doing well, you take him to the hospital. You don't take him home and help him have a shower.
Well, I'm presuming, maybe he's a stubborn old man and he's like, just take me home. And it's like, fine, you want to go home? I won't take you to the hospital. Fine. Who knows?
Yeah, but I'm going to leave you in the bathtub after showering you?
I don't know. He beat a worker with a baseball bat, baby. He was belligerent. And you're just like, you know what? Fuck you. Bye.
Yeah, but still, you went beyond the call of just, taking him home.
Yeah,
Let's
and this
go
is
ahead
like,
and
I guess,
too.
I'm presuming like a complete stranger to him. I'm like, that's really hinky.
Yeah, it's really, really, really hinky, yeah. That's there, so now I see suspicious, so yes.
Yeah, very suspicious. The next morning, Kelly was found and his condition had worsened. He was transported to Sacred Heart Hospital in Pensacola, Florida by EMS. His condition never improved and he was placed in hospice care, then died the following Friday.
Oh, wow.
Questions still remain regarding his death and if he had any involvement regarding the disappearance of Ben McDaniel with his previous criminal record.
Yeah, that raises suspicions, I agree.
By March of 2012, the McDaniels remained determined to find Ben, and the reward for divers to search the cave and recover the remains had grown to $30,000.
God, that's just a bad idea.
Unfortunately, the fear that many cave divers had was realized.
Bad idea.
A mere 2 days before the Investigation Discovery Channel aired its Disappeared segment in relation to Ben's case, a diver died in the Vortex Spring Cavern. His body was found the next day after he too failed to return from his dive.
Yeah, but see, they found his body. Why haven't we found Ben's?
There was no explicit evidence that the individual was trying to find Ben and claim the reward, but Sorensen, who recovered his body, believed he was looking for Ben, and they found the body near a shovel that he had left in a restriction so small that no one could get to it. Like, the shovel's still down there. They can't reach it.
Wow.
The following month, amid increasing criticism, the McDaniels rescinded the reward offer.
About time.
Ben McDaniel is still missing to this day. but he has been declared legally dead by the state of Florida in 2013. Kevin Carlisle, one of the divers who assisted in the search for Ben, stated that we may never know the truth of where he is, but we do know where he isn't, and that is because of a lot of talented and qualified divers.
So they're saying he is not down there.
He's not down there.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. I think him and the owner, Lowell, might have had some words, but they say there was no scuffle, but if he knew him well enough, he might have willingly gone with him somewhere, too.
Well, it's like, let's say...
But where's all his tanks and stuff? And
well, there's tanks still down there, but they're tanks filled with air. Somebody could have placed that there.
Right.
Easily. You also have to think that if Ben is sneaking past the gate regularly,
right,
he's grown some suspicions with employees. Why not the owner too?
Exactly.
The owner has so much more to lose than an employee does for him sneaking past that gate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's motivation there of losing your business, getting in a lot of financial trouble, so on and so forth, and it's just simpler to take care of the situation. And it might have been something as simple as they were talking about it, it got a little heated, and it was in a separate area, and from there, it turned violent.
Well, my thought is, too, it's like, well, if he did do that, but there's no evidence of the tanks or any of the gear that Ben had on anywhere around, or a scuffle or anything, why wouldn't he have taken care of the pickup truck, too, just to kind of throw off suspicions?
Yeah.
That's the weird part of it. It's like, if he did, why didn't he continue the whole thing?
Well, the other thing, and I hate to put this out there because it's probably not super accurate, but we've discussed there being serial killers like Israel out there.
Oh, goddamn, see, you just took it to another level, man.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll take it to another level. I'll go that far. But
okay.
I'm not saying that's absolutely the answer, but what if he was coming out of the water, he resurfaced, and somebody's waiting there with a gun pointed to him? A lot of people don't fight back once that firearm comes out. It's just simpler to do as they say.
Yeah. And it's like, well, he could, well, yeah, the dude could have not only just gotten rid of the gear and stuff, he could have actually sold it too.
Mm-hmm. It could have been pawned off very easily.
Could have been pawned.
Not to mention, Florida is known for sex trafficking and human trafficking as well.
Exactly. I was going to say, my next one is what serial killer was running around in Florida at that time, Katie?
Well, it wasn't Israel.
She's like, I hate you.
Got arrested.
Yeah, Israel was sitting up in Alaska about as far as you can freaking get, but still. I'm trying to, no, that would have been... Because Dad and I were down there, we drove through Gainesville, Florida when the Gainesville Ripper was going on. Had no freaking clue. I just remember hearing a radio news report about it, and I'm like, oh, we need to drive faster, honey. Get the hell out of here. But that's another element. That would be another element. Or you could just simply say, maybe he did have a fucking break and he just got out of there and decided if he was suffering from the bends because he obviously didn't have the right tanks.
Yeah, something could have gone wrong.
Yeah, so he could have just, once he got up there, was just getting all kinds of wonky and decided, you know what, I'm just going to go walk it off. And I'm wondering how far those springs are from actual ocean or Gulf of Mexico or whatever it is over there. Yeah.
Well, there's swampland too, and you have to think fucking Florida has the one danger nope I am just absolutely hell-bent on never coming across in my life. And that is...
Gators!
Gators. I fucking hate them. I fucking hate them with a passion.
Oh, God. I always remember the story of when we went down to see the space shuttle go up. You weren't even around yet. And your grandma and I are on the tour bus, and she's just dooty. And I'm like, what you looking for, Mom? And she's like, I just really would like to see an alligator. She says, they say they're on the roadside. You could just see them. And I said, well, that's entirely possible. So we pulled up to a stoplight or something, and we were sitting there. She goes, oh, look at that pretty bird standing out there. And I'm like, oh, it's an egret. And about that time, I said, there's your alligator. She goes, oh, that's too much nature for me. I'm like, like, oh my God, I was not expecting that either. But hey, there you go. A little Jurassic Park going for you. God. Yeah. Oh, God. And then there's your grandfather who used to go out and play golf. And when they'd get too close, he'd bonk them with their golf club.
Yeah, but he was born and raised Florida, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. But let me tell you, that still doesn't, like, ease your terror from you're standing on the freaking lakefront and all of a sudden this spry man of 70-some years old at that time comes loping over towards you and bonks a goddamn gator on the head.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll drive the golf cart from here on out. I'm not getting out of this damn thing. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, I'm with you on that. But yeah,
I am completely content on never running across a danger nope. Absolutely not.
Danger nope. Well, he could have done the danger nope. He could have very easily also, if there's like cave formations underwater, you got to figure there's also dry cave formations too. Mm-hmm. And maybe Lowell, his buddy, said, come here, I think I found another entrance to the cave, and dropped his butt down that way too. But you said that there were cadaver dogs and stuff. So,
well, cadaver dogs did mark on 2 areas, in the water and on the shore. The one that makes me question on the shore is, once again, going back to, like, let's say there's a gun involved, like maybe it was fired as a warning shot. He took a hit. Mm-hmm. And he kind of stood there for a second and there was blood, which would be kind of washed away with the water too, because honestly, you still have that in lakes and other areas of you have those little waves that come out. Mm-hmm. It gets washed into the water. That's why the cadaver dog hits in the water, and it's why it hits on the shore. But it's that warning shot of like, you better fucking come with me. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with you. Let's go. Let's just get out of here.
Yeah, and as small amount, it could have been a knife too, also poking him a little bit and dropping a tiny drop of blood. Or, yeah, it's just there's so many ins, which just No, I'm just saying there's so many ins and outs of this one, and it's just there's so many questions, not enough answers, not enough information. I literally would trust the divers that have been down there and working their butts off. And if they say he's not down there, he can't be down there.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking I'm going to go with he had a little bit of not a psychotic break. I would say that it was more of the bends, because if he didn't get his mixture correct, which obviously some of the rescue tanks weren't, maybe his wasn't either. By the time he came back up, he could have been in a huge mess of trouble with the bends.
Yeah, and he just goes simply wandering off and...
Yeah, not knowing what he's doing, discombobulated and, staggered into a danger nope out in the water, or could have just went wherever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So sad. Anywho,
we're going to give a physical description of Benjamin Wayne McDaniel. He is male. His ethnicity is Caucasian. His height is 6 foot to 6'2". His weight is 200 to 210. His hair color is brown. His eye color is blue. The last date of contact was August 18th of 2010. He is missing from Ponce De Leon, Florida. Age at disappearance was 30 years old. The current age would be somewhere around 43 years old today. Additional information was Ben was last seen at the resort wearing a dry suit for cave diving. The suit is black in color with a red logo on the chest and is made by neoprene. Last seen wearing black scuba diving suit, a C-130 scuba tank, goggles, yellow fins, and a computer dive watch. The NamUs profile number is MP26153. If you or anyone you know has any information regarding the disappearance of Ben McDaniel, you are asked to please contact the Holmes County Sheriff's Office at 850-547-3681. That number again is 850-547-3681. Thank you again for listening to Spattered. Please make sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Spattered Podcast and on X at Spattered Pod. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be notified when the show goes live or drops a video. As always, if you have a case request, any questions, or are interested in sponsoring the show, please email me at spatteredpodcast@gmail.com. Spattered is a true crime podcast hosted by Caitlin Gardner and Sarah Ray. The research and edits for this episode were done by Caitlin Gardner. All the music for the show was done by Lucio Cardenas. We'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. And remember, the truth is always in the blood.